Hello and welcome to Obscura Undead's music recommendation segment. I am Ian for your viewing pleasure this week, and with me is always the effervescent. Go ahead, who are you? Everybody knows Mouse.
Did you say effervescent?
Yes,
like
effervescent.
Right?
Effervescent. You're bubbly. You're full of energy.
Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer. Yes.
Okay, I'm your Gothic Alka-Seltzer tablet.
Gothic Alka-Seltzer.
And today we have a music recommendation for you, and it is the latest album by Actors.
Yes, Acts of Worship.
Acts of Worship. I love the name of this because it has the word actors in it.
Oh, yes. I did not even pick up on that one.
And it was released on October 1st. 10-track album, and loads of singles have come out on this.
I think you nailed that. Like, it came out on October 1st, but this album feels like it's been out for almost a year.
The entire year.
Because there's been so many singles coming off of it, but they're all really good.
So Actors are awesome guys from Canada.
Vancouver.
Is it Vancouver? Oh, I thought it was Toronto, but okay. So we love them. We love Jason Corbett. He has his fingers in a lot of albums. He's done all kinds of like mastering. He's always on Twitch. They're always on Twitch, hanging out. And these singles that we were talking about, 5 of them have already been released. Almost all of them with music videos, maybe all of them with music videos. And those have been coming out.
Yeah,
those have been coming out since October of 2020 when they released Love You More.
The crazy part, and that's what I was gonna say, like all of them have videos, and they did a lot of this during the pandemic.
So that was awesome. It was a light of a breath of fresh air. Is that what I'm trying to say? During the pandemic, it was something.
Shining bright light.
Eating it up.
Yep, a shining bright light in the pandemic.
But now the album's out, and half of the songs we already know from like a year ago. So it kind of made the album release not as exciting as we wanted it to be.
Which doesn't deter that it's a good album. It's just
a great album.
There was like, it's not a letdown, but it's at the same time, it's like, well, we already know all this.
It affects the way that we listen to music.
Right.
If you haven't heard any of these singles, we haven't, if it hasn't been overkilled for you, I don't know if that's a word, then you're gonna be over the moon with this.
The flip side to that, as we discussed, is their like a brother sister band, Boot Blacks.
Yeah.
When I had interviewed them, I had mentioned like, oh, you've got a new album out, and they were saying, well, no, like actually our album came out a year ago, and throughout that year they've had all this time to release all these singles. So I kind of wonder if the pandemic just kind of like they kind of did it opposite of Actors, but I feel like the pandemic has kind of messed up our sense of time and release and what's going on, and no one's been able to tour properly. And
yeah, it's also modern music. Most people are releasing singles instead of albums, right, because it keeps the attention on them, and it's great marketing. Great idea. Absolutely works. It pulls some of the shine away from the album though once it's released. So anyway, it is a great album, top to bottom. I was kind of just trapped in the first 2 songs. I could just listen to Love You More and Like Suicide on repeat and be happy.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I could go with Cold Eyes, which has been my jam lately, and Love You More. Those are
awesome. Great. And incidentally, every time I listen to Cold Eyes, Libby brought this up, it sounds like Goldfrapp, like the White Horse or something. It sounds like...
Yeah, what's her name? Goldfrapp. Oh my gosh, I know her name. I know her name, but yes, it does.
Just look it up.
But what's crazy about, I notice a lot of these tracks, they have like these false endings, or they have like abrupt endings. So the endings just like, so like Cold Eyes cuts off like right in the middle, like, or right.
Oh, I remember. But it bleeds into Obsession. So only if you're playing the track by itself does it cut.
But then Love You More, there's like a 5 to 10 second pause at the very end of it. So you can miss that if you're spinning it live in a club or on Twitch. People And then
those
like
backing vocals.
Yep. Great backing vocals.
So one of the things that I had briefly mentioned when we were reviewing or recommending Black Rose Burning, with the way Jason Corbett masters things, actors have this way of beautifully integrating guitar and synth and vocals and backing vocals so that you hear all of this at once. It's not just a guitar-driven album.
Right. Actually,
or a
I think
synth-driven album.
It's a good way of combining all the elements because you've got like this driving percussion in the back too that's keeping the beat going.
Yeah, I forgot about the percussion. Yes.
Right.
So that's
got it all just going.
Great mastering. As well, you have their whole sound is like it's modern post-punk, basically.
So how I compare them, it's like if you put like early INXS, early U2, and like an Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, and I actually went and compared some of OMD stuff, not the If You Leave, but like some of their less club-friendly hits next to Actors, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of similarities in the way the songs are structured, the sound, the synth. Yeah, so it's good stuff.
Well, I think that their sound is reminiscent of the 2008 to 2011 indie alternative like Electroclash. So I mentioned Goldfrapp. What about classic indie electro like LaRue, The Killers, Interpol? Like sounds like that. That to me is
It's maybe
Actors has updated that, but it's all of those elements combined.
It is, yeah. Yes.
So, any other songs you want to point out?
I like Strangers. Strangers is good. And I also like Only Lonely, which I believe is their latest. They do have a new video out. I haven't really looked at the video too much.
That song reminds me of like old Gary Newman synths.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can hear like the 80s influence in there. Yep. Yeah, but God, this album is just beautiful. Even going all the way through to the last song, Once More with Feeling, which is very interesting. I don't know what you would classify it as, but it's kind of like a little avant-garde, like end cap to the album. But just they have this unique, like tempo and energy, and so like you can even hear like when they perform live, like how everything just like meshes together and is like almost like perfectly well practiced musicians, as if everyone's classically trained, and they probably are. They're amazing at everything.
Yeah, I had peeked on Facebook on Jason's page because anyways, he went to a music college. He went to school for music.
Oh, good. Awesome. So he really has an appreciation for it. That absolutely like comes out. Like he just sounds like he's already like a seasoned professional for 30 years, And
I hate to like focus on the visuals of a band as well, but visually their videos are great.
Oh yeah.
If you love the whole retro wave type of vibe, a lot of their aesthetics are like heavy, almost not vaporwave, but kind of, like they play back to a lot of the colors and the like very Miami Vice, with those blues and the greens and the pinks and the neons.
Yeah, I think retrowave.
Retrowave, yeah. Aesthetically, when I've seen their videos, when you've seen them performing, they're wearing all black. They've got their Ray-Bans on, leather jackets.
But it's not necessarily gothic. It's just stuff that goths love.
It's a good look. I mean,
it's just music that goths love.
Yep.
All right. Well, so that wraps it up. Really, even though our recommendation is for this, we also truly hope that you go pick up those singles because that is the meat of the album. 5 singles came out: Love You More, Like Suicide, Cold Eyes, Only Lonely, and Strangers. So
in this case, at this point in time, since those singles have been out, if you have not bought the singles, now you can get it in one handy dandy package through an album.
Yes, exactly.
So, which, according to Bandcamp, their vinyl won't be in stock until New Year's.
Yeah, I read that as well.
And they classify themselves as alternative darkwave post-punk Vancouver. That's
Vancouver.
a whole genre. That's a genre of music now, Vancouver.
Vancouver. Yes, that's great.
What do you call
All right.
this?
Well, that wraps it up. Hope you can pick up this album. And we're going to say goodbye. Do you have any last thing you want to say?
My last thing in this episode I want to say is keep it spooky.
That's great. Yes, please keep it spooky. And we will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
This